You say that your brand Pupchen is a new concept in footwear as it is unexpected, unknowable and ultra luxurious. What led you to found your brand in these strong and fresh basics? And more importantly, how does your journey with footwear begin in the first place?
So I started this brand to be unknowable and unexpected because it was not expected to happen. I started this out of nowhere in the middle of the lockdown. I am an architect with zero experience in education and fashion. So for me, it was unexpected, unknowable, because I don't know in which category I should have put our shoes, and ultra luxurious because we were lucky enough to work with the best shoes manufacturer. We started with Maison Massaro. It's a Maison Métier d'Art of Chanel, and we are making our shoes at Nil Lab, which is one of the best manufacturer of shoes owned by Chanel. And we're doing our embroideries at Atelier Le Buisson in Paris. We did a lot of our accessories at Augustin's, who's a very known jewelry house in Paris. And that's why we are ultra luxurious, and that's why it is unexpected for us to do that for a brand that's just started with zero connection in the business and in the industry to do that. How my journey started with shoes, it started when I was in the very first lockdown, questioning everything that happened in my life. I was an architect working for 10 years as a hospitality consultant, and I decided that I wanted to design a product of my own. And I designed shoes instead of furniture or anything related to architecture. I was always fascinated by fashion and by shoes and accessories. And when I decided that I wanted to do this, I did not find a manufacturer in Italy to accept me, because I was thinking with my sketches I'm gonna be like received with the arms wide open. It was not the case. It was a very crazy adventure, very unexpected adventure, and it still is a very crazy adventure, and we're gonna see how it's gonna work.
One thing I love is that you say your brand is fatally allergic to seriousness. For you, why is it so important to reject or run away from seriousness when it comes to footwear? Why is it important to have fun?
I think that with every discussion going on around the fashion business, people are making fashion look so much serious. I think fashion is also a lot of fun. This is how I perceive it. And footwear are also a lot of fun because it's easier to make something in a small scale and it will be looking funny or telling a story. And it's just one accessory that can change an outfit. And I believe shoes are supposed to be fun, and the whole fashion is supposed to be fun. I think that now with all the discussions about the environment, the sustainability, etc., etc., it is important for the fashion, but it makes us also forget that fashion is a form of art and that it's not supposed to be very serious. We're supposed to have fun, and we're supposed to express ourselves.
Could you tell us why your brand is sustainable, what makes it sustainable, and the importance it has, bearing in mind today's needs of the fashion industry and its customers?
Yes, so I don't know if you know the story, but in the beginning we wanted to do a vegan, sustainable, luxurious shoes brand. And that we wanted, like we even did the very first prototypes in vegan materials, and we spent a lot of time searching how to make shoes that are comfortable, that feel luxurious, and nice and fashionable and vegan and sustainable. And we realized after a few time that vegan was not possible, that we can choose one bottle at a time, and we decided that we will try as much as possible to make sustainable shoes. And when we don't take the sustainable option, we always want to explain to our customers why we did not choose the sustainable option. For example, for the vegan shoes, we realized that the material wears off really, really easily. There was a problem of comfort, there was a problem of durability. So when we moved to the leather, we also decided that we will use, for example, only chrome-free leather for our lining. We will use vegetable tanned soles, that we will double check the certifications of the tanneries that we work with. We do everything locally in Europe, and we are very, very open and close to our manufacturers. We know who they are. We know people working in the factories, and they do the shoes. And I think that something is important about sustainability is that we should also think that the shoes has to stay as much as possible wearable, fashion wise, and also comfort wise and durability wise, and also that we should think of how the girls can wear the same shoes with a different accessory every time. So we have a lot of shoes that you can customize with metallic accessory. You can take them off and you can change them next season with other things that are new. We have socks that you can wear with the mules, so you can wear the mules during the summer and during the winter. And we are trying to rethink sustainability, because if you only focus on certificates and materials, first of all, the costs will be very high. Today, one of our problems is that the cost is very, very high when it's a sustainable and certified material. So with our competitors, it's a problem because we don't find an explanation why our prices are high. And also, it's very, very limiting to work only with certified sustainable materials in terms of design. So we're trying to find a balance. It's a long way to go, and we are learning a lot through this journey, and we are always keeping ourselves very curious and very open to new things.
I believe Pupchen is an outburst and an invitation into the unusual and uncompromising universe of young designer and architect Duha Bukadi. What can you tell us about that universe that seems so fascinating, and how do you bring your ideas to life?
Yes, that universe is amazing. I don't know, it's always a party in my head. What I wanted to describe through the universe of Pupchen is that we are supposed to have fun with everything in our life. Like we're supposed to have fun when we're working, during meetings, during lunch, when we're having a gym session that is ultra painful. We're supposed to have fun and to laugh. And I wanted to create these shoes that will spark a conversation between two strangers in the street, that will be something to make fun of during a very serious meeting. Pupchen is for the women that are serious but don't take things seriously, that want to make fun with what they are wearing. And how I bring these ideas to life is I think of shoes as an emotion and as a feeling, and I want to transform this état d'esprit, this feeling, into reality, into something you can use and you can walk into, and that will be everywhere with you, in a date, in a meeting, in a party, and you will be happy and noticeable, and people are maybe smiling when they see you wearing our shoes.
It's really curious that you say your brand is an act of aesthetic revenge on the world of resigned adults, tedious rudeness, and flat personalities. Why do you find that word so decayed that made you dedicate a part of your brand to directly fighting it with your colorful and fun designs?
I am the kind of girl that people usually, especially when I go to work, make fun of what I'm wearing. And also it became one of my insecurities, because I used to be married to a guy that was very traditional in his way of dressing and used to make a lot of fun of what I'm wearing. So I'll be like spending the whole day choosing my outfit, and then we're gonna go to a party, and the minute we're gonna go, he will be like making fun of what I'm wearing and not saying, oh, that looks good. So I think that it's a revenge from my side to all these people that make fun of what I'm wearing, that I'm saying, okay, and every girl is gonna be wearing that. so it's but most seriously, it's when you're wearing colorful designs, the way you wear is the message that you want to say to people. So maybe when you wear colorful or extraordinary designs, it's a way of speaking up in a world that nobody is watching. No one, you can walk naked in the street and no one is looking at you. It's a way to express yourself while being silent on who you are and how much is different and happy is your world inside.
How has your experience as an architect helped you with the designing process? Do you apply any rules of architecture to the structure and utility of your shoes?
It's two different words if you look at the practical things, but in the concept, it's architecture is taking a concept from a concept to a design to a detailed design and then to building. And this is how everything that you build in clothes or in shoes is done, but it's a different timeline. So doing a shoes is shorter than building a whole building, but it's the same logic. So it starts with a mood board, even in architecture, then it becomes sketches, then it becomes detailed sketches with a factory, etc., etc., then a prototype. In architecture we do 3D, and also in Pupchen we do our shoes in 3D. We try to not to waste a lot of time and material while doing shoes and then destroy them just because it was 1 millimeter not okay. So we work a lot on 3D before taking the shoes to the factories to make them. And this, I think that's one of the things that I'm very grateful to have as a skill, to be able to see things in 3D and to modelize things in 3D. Utility is very important in architecture. If you design a very good house, but at the end of the day you cannot do your shower properly in the morning, the one who's gonna use the house will wake up every morning saying, wow, this architect is so useless. And also for shoes, so if you design an amazing shoes but it's impossible to walk in for comfort problems or for a stripe that is not in its place, the woman that is gonna use them will say these are not well designed and well thought, and it will end up hiding in her closet or in the garbage. So it's very important to us to be comfortable and for the utility of our shoes to be well defined and the shoes to be well thought. And this is also something in common with architecture.
During the process of creation of the brand, which I believe required a lot of research, you asked yourself a question that gave you the brand's 3 most important things: savoir-faire, sustainability, and fantasy. Could you explain to us how you reached that conclusion and why are these 3 key elements of your brand?
So yes, I had a lot of time to think about the brand because it was lockdown, and it was also time where all the architecture projects stopped. So I had plenty of time to design and to think what I wanted and what I wanted to do with this brand. The savoir-faire is very important for us because when you're not from the fashion, you did not do any studies in fashion, it's important for you to learn, and it's maybe you will learn more than someone that did a school of fashion, because you will be always thinking that you are not good enough. So you will be searching and learning, and I learned that in shoes it's very important to make yourself surrounded by the best in order to deliver the idea that you want, because between the sketches, the ideas, and then the execution, there is a word. To make a shoes, you will need around 50 suppliers to make one single shoe. So savoir-faire, and there is a lot of precision in doing the shoes. So I think that's on top of our priorities as a brand, because it's the thing that makes us make shoes that are luxurious, it's the thing that's making us express ourselves in a decent way, and in a way where the girl can enjoy her shoes as much as possible. Utility is also important because it is the comfort, and then sustainability was on the top of our priorities, because for me it is a subject, and what I want to do with it is, we are putting sustainability a lot on our priorities, but we don't communicate about it. We don't communicate about it much, because we realize that when you start to talk about sustainability, you lose people's attention very fast. So what we are doing is that we are doing things in the most sustainable way we can, and then we don't talk about it. It's just, for my daughter, for example, if I want to make her eat healthy food, I will make it in a good design, and I will make it look nice, and certainly I will not tell her that it's healthy food, and she ends up eating it. So we're doing the same way with our consumers. It's good to raise awareness about sustainability, but it becomes boring very easily. So what we do is that we're making sustainable shoes. We want them look desirable, we want them look sexy, we want them look fun, and they are sustainable. If someone is asking if they are yes or no sustainable, we will certainly answer, but we will not put that in the front of our communication. So it's very important for us since day one. We are doing a lot of efforts. We are double checking our certificates and stuff, but we prefer not to communicate a lot about it. Fantasy, sorry, it's the third point. Fantasy is also important because it's what's making the brand being fun. It's what's making everything being fun. Like fantasy, if you want to make anything starts with a dream, with a fantasy, and this is what we want to express to the people. So they come to our universe, and they become one of us.
You're presenting your latest collection during the Tranoï event in Paris. What it's like for you to be showing your work at this important event, and how do you think it's going to benefit your career and your brand? How do you feel about it?
I feel stressed and excited because the moment we are talking, the shoes are not ready yet. so it's but I think it's the quotidien, it's the everyday of every brand. It's a lot of stress, but I'm very thrilled. Very thrilled and very excited. Tranoï is an important event for us because it's our first time showing to buyers and showing to the press a full collection of shoes. We are also in a very critical timing because we're gonna also launch our e-shop. And it's the beginning of a new adventure, and I think that Tranoï is gonna mark that. So yeah, I can't wait to be there with all the shoes and to present it.
We've talked about sustainability, a common link between emerging fashion designers. What do you feel like all these new young and emerging talents like you need right now to grow and become stronger within the fashion industry? Which are your demands or suggestions?
We need a lot of money. Emerging designers need money. They need money. I think that all of the emerging designers need funds in order to be able to maintain their expenses, while they will be showing collection after collection after collection before ended up with a collection that will be kicking off their career. And I think that a lot of young and emerging designers will not make it until they will do this collection that will be sparking their career, because there will be no money to survive the years of doing collections without having sales. I think that we'll need a lot of money, a lot of coaching. We need the people in the industry to listen to us, and maybe that there will be more initiatives to support young designers. And yeah, we need also to be answered to our emails. That will be fine. I know that all the people in the industry are very, very, very busy, and they must be having millions of emails from the people, from the young designers wanting to, I don't know, to be sold at that retailer, to be talking to that PR agency, to be styling that celebrity. I think that our voices should be listened to more, and there will be like extra like a track only for the young designers.
To conclude, I'm also curious about the future of Pupchen. How do you hope Pupchen to be in a couple of years from now, or how would you love to see it? What's in store for your career-wise?
Oh my god, I have so many plans. I think that we will end up talking for hours about this, but I think that this all started from something that seemed impossible, and I think that we made it possible, and I think that for the future, everything that will seem impossible, we'll try our best to make it possible. In few years, I would see Pupchen as a lifestyle brand that will maybe do some shoes and some jewelry and some lingerie and some furniture, and that will offer a very different retail experience to its customers. I hope that we will be able to do everything and stay humble and stay curious and stay sustainable, and I will make sure to be always different and to keep our DNA and our not seriousness, because that's what's making me vibrate every day, and that's what's making me move and try to make things differently.